Dear students, very good morning. As you know, biology continues. Lecture 1. Understand you have sent homework through PDF already. Okay. And today, lecture number 2 in biology. Chapter number 6, as you all know. Remember the title? Life Processes. If I now ask you a question, what is meaning of life process? You all know that life process are those essential processes which are compulsory, essential and inevitable for the living organism to survive, either it be unicellular, simple multicellular or complex multicellular. And we were discussing about nutrition at that time, if you can remember. Understand, initially first we discussed about life processes. That was topic 6.1, some numbering maybe. Then we discussed about next topic 6.2, and that was about nutrition. In that we discussed about autotrophic nutrition. Now, some of the things which I want to share with you is that in exam it can happen that you may be asked to write a short note on autotrophic nutrition. That means you have to write the full short notes. Okay, each and every point. But before we start today's topic, you should be very sure regarding one thing. You have to be very sure regarding one thing, that it can happen that you will be asked a short note of autotrophic nutrition, but at the same time some sub question from the same short note they can design. Just take an example. This way they can ask you question, you please note it down. Short note of autotrophic nutrition you all know very well, but they may ask question in this format, then what to answer and how to answer. Suppose, take an example. If they ask, draw structure of stomata and explain how it works, and also state function of stomata. I have given that type of question in PDF. You can see that. So at that time you have to draw. I have shown you have to draw two diagrams. First diagram, where initially you have to show the stomata closed. That means the guard cell you have to show in shrinkage position. So the stomata remain closed. Then you have to draw the second diagram where you have to show the swelling of the guard cell and the stomata opens. And you, after drawing these two diagrams, you have to explain that how stomata remain closed and how stomata opens. What are the functions of stomata that we have already discussed, you know. Function of stomata we discussed in quite detail, that it absorbs CO2, carbon dioxide from environment, essential for the process of photosynthesis. At the same time, it also loses extra water from plant in the form of transpiration. Understand? And that transpiration helps in the transport of water from root up to the leaf of the plant that we discussed. So this one question I had already given in PDF. See, the second question also I have given. Write 3 stages in the process of photosynthesis. So we discussed 3 stages already. The first 2 can be called light phase, and the third is called the dark phase, where there is no need for the incidence of sunlight, as you know. So these 2 questions which I sent in PDF can be called a sub-question. One also I sent a question in PDF if you verify. Draw the cross section of the leaf. It is quite simple diagram. I just gave you some hint of that lower epidermis, then air spaces, guard cells, then cell containing chloroplast, then upper epidermis, and then the cuticle, as you know, waxy layer present on the upper epidermis. So that's a simple diagram where you are shown leaf blade, veins you are shown, and passage of vascular passage of xylem and phloem is also shown. So that diagram can also asked in exam. It was such a simple diagram, you can directly do yourself. Understand? Now, if you can remember in lecture number 1, we were discussing about autotrophic nutrition. Now we are discussing topic 6.2.1, that is 6.2.2, that is heterotrophic nutrition. This you need to understand. It can also be asked in exam. Understand, as a short note, heterotrophic nutrition. First, actually, we can divide or we can classify heterotrophic nutrition into actually 3 types, I can say. Either you can say heterotrophic nutrition, one type, I may say saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition. Then you can say parasitic nutrition. Parasitic nutrition. And third, you can say holozoic nutrition. Actually, it is not mentioned in textbook. They haven't in textbook classified in 3 types, but undoubtedly there is already a mention of indirectly saprophytic nutrition and parasitic nutrition. But there is no actually the utilization of the word holozoic nutrition. Let us try to understand. First, let me remind you this word. Heterotrophic nutrition means what? Just it is contrast to autotrophic nutrition. In autotrophic nutrition, what happens? So, as you all know, any living organism consisting of green pigment chlorophyll, mostly plants, are involved in autotrophic nutrition. They prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, utilize the energy produced for their maintenance, growth, development, and rest. Surplus energy is stored and surplus carbohydrate starch is stored either in the root, stem, understand, etc. Now, what is actually the meaning of heterotrophic nutrition. So when any living organism derive nutrition from other source, that is called autotrophic nutrition. When I speak the word other source, I must make it clear. Other source can be either plant product or it can be animal product. Animal product means either milk, egg, flesh, etc. So when a living organism derive nutrition from other source, that is called heterotrophic nutrition. Means here the nutrition is derived from other sources like either plant products or animal product, etc. Understand? Now one more thing. We have divided or we have categorized animals into three categories: herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous. Herbivorous animals are categorized in this way that they depend on plant products. I do not need to mention example, you all know that. Carnivorous animals are categorized in the manner that they derive nutrition from the flesh of other animals. And omnivorous animal, they utilize both the sources, either from plant product or from animal product. So they are called omnivorous, and we all are omnivorous, that you all know. So three categories of animal, understand, are herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous, not mentioned in your textbook, but it has been already covered in the previous standard and board can ask you. So you have to prepare yourself about this category of three types of animal you should know. Understand? Herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous. Now, heterotrophic nutrition means when nutrition is derived from other sources, that is known as heterotrophic nutrition. Understand? You can classify heterotrophic nutrition into three types. You may call it saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition or holozoic nutrition. We are also heterotrophs because we depend on plant product and animal product for feeding, for our nutrition. We are indulging in holozoic type of nutrition. That means what? We are not destroying the source. We are utilizing a part of the source, understand, as our food, right? That is called holozoic nutrition. We utilize plant products, we utilize animal product, understand, and non-vegetarian utilize animal product and even eat the flesh of animal by killing them. Means when you utilize a part of the other source or whole organism, that is called holozoic nutrition. So our nutrition can be considered a holozoic nutrition, definitely. What we do, we utilize either plant product, animal product, a part of that or the whole body. We intake those complex organic compound inside our body, then we decompose them, understand, then we convert it into simpler form, understand, and then we get energy from that for our growth, maintenance, repairing and development. Okay, so our nutrition is holozoic nutrition, where we take inside complex organic compound and decompose inside our body, not outside our body. But there are some living organisms, understand, they do not take complex organic compound inside their body, but they directly decompose them, means convert into simpler form outside their body, and then they take in those simpler form, understand, in their body. So that is called saprophytic nutrition. Take an example. Actually, it was a definition like what is saprophytic nutrition, you should note down. When nutrition is derived from dead and decaying matter, that means some of the organisms like fungus, bacteria, understand, which we call decomposers or transformer, as you know, they attack the decaying organic matter એટલે બધું સડતું હોય એ, અથવા they attack the dead bodies of either plant or animal. They actually fed upon dead bodies of either plant or animal, or their decaying organic matter, means either urinary or excretory matter. They actually feed on that. They decompose those dead and decaying organic matter, understand, and convert it into simpler format, which we call decomposition process or transportation process, and derive their nutrition. That's why we call it saprophytic nutrition. Fungus, bacteria are involved in saprophytic nutrition, as you know, as well as not mentioned in textbook, but you can mention some of the animals or birds like which we call scavengers, like kite, understand, eagle. What they do, they also do the same thing, understand. They attack the dead bodies, understand, decompose the complex organic compound outside their body and take in their nutrition. So saprophytic nutrition, when nutrition is derived from dead and decaying organic matter, we can call it saprophytic nutrition. Now, third type of heterotrophic nutrition, that we call parasitic nutrition. Actually, we discussed holozoic nutrition and saprophytic nutrition. Okay, saprophytic nutrition. Now, third type of nutrition, which we call parasitic nutrition. What does it mean? So, when living organism undoubtedly derive nutrition from other source, but not only that, when they derive nutrition from other living organism, they also harm them. Means they are the guest and they harm the host. Like suppose if you receive some guest at your home, and if they are harmful, that means if you don't like, so you can call it parasite. So parasite means of the same type, that living organism get nutrition from other source, understand, but at the same time they harm them also, they harm the host also. That is called parasitic nutrition. I do not need to mention which living organism are involved in parasitic form of nutrition. You all know some are ectoparasite, means act from outside the body, and some are endoparasites. Suppose ectoparasite, lice, head lice, mosquitoes, all are ectoparasite. In plant, if I mention, even leeches are also ectoparasite. In plant, Cascuta, which you call amarvel, or one of the climber type of plant, which take the support of other plant and utilize the nutrients of that plant and destroys that plant. So that is also one type of ectoparasite. Some are endoparasite like liver flux, understand, tapeworm, which live inside our body and harms us. So that is called parasitic nutrition, understand. So two types of nutrition, or three types in heterotrophic: saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and holozoic nutrition, Understand? So, I think the topic is clear regarding heterotrophic nutrition. What? Nutrition is derived from other sources, maybe plants or animal, and that is categorized into three: saprophytic, parasitic, and holozoic nutrition. Understand? So, we discussed about two types of nutrition: autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Now it's a question: how different living organisms feed themselves. There are unicellular living organism, simple multicellular living organism, complex multicellular living organism. There are different way of obtaining nutrition by them. All do not have the similar way of obtaining nutrition. Various unicellular living organisms obtain nutrition in different way. Multicellular living organism obtain nutrition in different way. Understand? Because multicellular living organism, in that also simple multicellular and complex multicellular, like we are complex multicellular and we have perfect complex design of organ systems. Understand? To ingest food and process of digestion and obtaining energy all. So there are some simple multicellular also you studied in 9th standard. Understand? If you can remember Porifera, Platyhelminthes, Arthropoda, etc. If you can remind, so they are also multicellular, but they have different system. Understand, of obtaining food. So unicellular also obtain food in different way. Just now, in our next topic, we are going to target how different animal take their nutrition. We have to discuss two, one about unicellular and one about multicellular. Unicellular particularly we will discuss about amoeba, and in multicellular particularly we will discuss about human being. Okay, now let us discuss how amoeba takes nutrition, or I can just make a title here: nutrition in amoeba. Okay, how the nutrition take place in amoeba. Actually, you all know very well that amoeba is a simple unicellular living organism, means protozoan, having only single cell. Okay, so how the nutrition might be taking place in amoeba? Actually it does not have, because it's a single cell organism, does not have complex body design like us. So the process of taking food in amoeba is called cell nutrition. Okay, I am just mentioning one word. The process of taking food in amoeba is called cell nutrition, because amoeba is a single celled protozoan, that you all know. Single celled, or I can say protozoan. Okay, so because amoeba is a single cell organism, the cell nutrition in amoeba is also known as, the word which I mention here is very important, you should note down it: phagocytosis. You should say that nutrition in amoeba is known as cell nutrition or phagocytosis. How the nutrition must be taking place in amoeba, that we want to understand. Okay, amoeba is a single cell organism like Paramecium, Euglena, etc. Not mouth like structure. So what happens? Let us try to understand the phagocytosis in amoeba, how it happens. This word is not mentioned in textbook, but you should remember nutrition in amoeba is a cell nutrition, we can call it phagocytosis. Okay, what happens? Just let us try to draw a simple amoeba diagram of amoeba. Suppose મારી સાથે draw. Just draw with me. Here when you draw, please make some structure looking like this. થોડું આવું કરો. Okay, amoeba. This is nucleus. Okay, and suppose here is food particle, we say. Understand, we are just trying to understand phagocytosis in amoeba. The first diagram here, single cell organism, not particular shape, as you all know. When food particle means the complex, any complex organic compound which amoeba wants to ingest in their body is somewhere nearby. This can be called, you can call it food particle. This is amoeba. Now what happens? When any food particle is near amoeba, amoeba has to take this food particle inside. How it happens? It C does not have it does not have a mouth like us. It does not have a mouth organ like take food and ingest it. But nature is very, very piteous. It has given every living organism a right to survive and how to take food. So what amoeba actually does, try to understand it. What actually amoeba do? Here you can show some cytoplasm or whatever. Understand? You can utilize only even two color in your diagram, black and blue. Never utilize other color. Mind it very well. Understand? Pencil करो तो better है. Cytoplasm, nucleus and food particle. Okay, this is food particle. Now it has to be ingested inside the body of amoeba. So what amoeba does? It extends cytoplasm in such a way that it creates a knuckle-like structure, finger-like projection. It extends. I will draw that diagram here, but I just want to, it extends this. It flows the cytoplasm in such a way that it forms a structure called pseudopodia. Understand? I just draw a diagram here. चलो અહીંયા તો ऐसे just show this. Okay, but here you should show a finger like projection. Okay, and here is food particle. It was food particle initially here. Now amoeba created this finger like projection, okay, which you can call pseudopodia. Pseudopodia. After creating this knuckle-like structure, it diffuses the food particle inside. Try to understand it. So this particular structure, the finger-like projection which is created by amoeba, can be called pseudopodia. This can be asked in some time in one line also, that amoeba ingests food via dash. So you have to remember pseudopodia. That's a finger-like projection created by amoeba for ingesting or diffusing the food particle inside. Now what happens? Try to understand. The purpose for flowing cytoplasm and creating finger-like projections called pseudopodia is now over because the food particle has been diffused inside. So now what happens? This actually this finger-like projection created by amoeba diffuses and forms a food vacuole. Just the third diagram. Just take an example. Suppose you draw amoeba. Now the purpose of that finger-like projection is over. This is nucleus, and here food. Let us draw a little away. Now the food vacuole is created. Here is the food particle. Now there is no need for finger-like projection. This is nucleus, cytoplasm, and this is can be called a food vacuole. Now what happens? Inside the food vacuole, what is going to happen? The complex food particle means the complex organic molecule which has entered, understand, in the food vacuole and is actually decomposed and converted into simple form, and those simpler molecule formed from this complex molecule are diffused in cytoplasm. Here, whatever the food particle is decomposed and converted into simple unit, and this simple unit are thrown means diffused in the cytoplasm, where they are utilized for energy production, for maintenance requirement, and for growth of amoeba. And rest of the undigested food, like in our body also, which remain in the food vacuole, that needs to be thrown out of the body of amoeba. Body, that means cell of the amoeba. Understand? Actually, you can call this process as ingestion. Understand? You can call it ingestion process, not injection, ingestion. And this process you can call it digestion and assimilation. Assimilation word you know? You must have studied in somewhere in previous standard that the food particle which entered in amoeba has been utilized for two purposes. First, for energy production as well as for growth and maintenance of amoeba. So the food particle which entered in amoeba's body has become an integral part of that, means for energy requirement and for maintenance requirement. Now the undigested food particle which remain in the food vacuole, that needs to be thrown out of the body of amoeba. How to throw it out? There needs to be some process, like we have a process excretion. The amoeba is not a multicellular like us, but it has to throw this undigested useless waste from outside its cell, outside its body. So how it happens? That is called the fourth stage. You may call it excretion. What happens now? Just now try to understand ingestion, digestion, assimilation that occurred. Now what happens? How to throw that undigested food outside the body. Understand? So what happens actually? Just try to understand. First let us draw a simple that amoeba we have already done. Now this is nucleus already, so this is cytoplasm already. Now this food vacuole actually, I am drawing it near. Now this is undigested food and this is food vacuole. Actually what happens? This food vacuole, which was initially here, moves towards the cell membrane. This is cell membrane as you know, and this is food vacuole. Why it approaches near the cell membrane? Understand what happens in your home. You collect all waste in the dustbin, and where you keep this dustbin, you keep it outside your home. So this is food vacuole is like a dustbin now, consisting undigested useless food which is to be thrown out of the cell of the amoeba. So what happens? Actually, this food vacuole, which consisting of undigested waste food, travel towards the cell membrane, and then it burst, and when it burst, understand this bursting take place, that is the rupturing of the cell membrane. It breaks a little bit, and this undigested material is thrown out by the process of diffusion. Understand? A little rupturing of the cell membrane take place to throw that undigested food out of the cell membrane, and the process is over. Understand? Actually, this stage can also be called pinocytosis. Mind this word. Phagocytosis, pinocytosis, that is the process of excretion how take place in amoeba. Okay? You understood this? It can be asked in 3 or 4 marks. It can be. So when it is asked in 3 or 4 marks, they may ask a question, explain nutrition in amoeba, or they can ask, explain, once it was asked in board exam, explain in all course phagocytosis and pinocytosis in amoeba. At that time, some students were confused. They were knowing the word because it is already mentioned in the old textbook, phagocytosis, but they were not knowing the word pinocytosis. So in board, sometimes some sparkling things are asked, but they are not difficult. Actually, they are connected only. Phagocytosis and pinocytosis, that's the whole process of nutrition in amoeba. Okay, so nutrition in amoeba divided into stages like ingestion, digestion, assimilation, and excretion. Understand how amoeba ingests the food via finger-like projection, which we call pseudopodia. Understand, through that the food particle goes inside and forms this pseudopodia forms a food vacuole inside, and inside the food vacuole that food material is digested, decomposed, and simpler form which are formed are actually thrown in the dispersed in the cytoplasm, and undigested material through food vacuole is thrown outside by rupturing of the cell membrane. You understood? That is one type of diffusion process only. So this is nutrition in amoeba. You understood? So today actually I wanted to take topic of nutrition in human being, that is in complex living organism, but we may not be able to because half topic we do not want to take in our lecture. We will take that topic of nutrition in a human being in our next lecture. Okay? Now, first thing, before we end today's lecture, I want to discuss with you some important points before we end today's lecture. In our last 2 lectures, we discussed about nutrition, we discussed about life processes, we discussed about autotrophic nutrition, we discussed about heterotrophic nutrition, and we also discussed about nutrition in amoeba. Everywhere in all these questions, diagram are a must. Diagram has to be must. I am just drawing some simple diagram on the board, but then also I am trying so that you can guess how to draw the diagrams. Understand? In biology, no doubt, content is equally valid as well as the diagram. But it doesn't mean that you just draw a sound diagram and don't write a proper content. You will never get marks. Understand, mind it one thing, that along with good, principally looking good diagram, your content also count a lot, and your content in science needs to be extremely point-wise and correct. Understood? So, heterotrophic nutrition, okay. Homework is, I told you, will send through PDF only for lecture number 1 and lecture number 2. Okay. In biology, what I want to discuss before we end this lecture, that much is explanation part. Understood? So you should be very, very conscious when I'm speaking out some sentences and some words. So you have to be very, very conscious in remembering those words. Understand? Because they are very, very important. The commentary in biology counts a lot. You have to at the same time draw diagram, at the same time you have to heard whatever I am speaking. Understand? Because you may write in your own word, but some particular scientific terminology has to be there in your answer. That counts a lot. Understand? So nutrition in amoeba. So today's lecture we will cover this topic. We will not start the next topic today. We will start in the next lecture because the topic of nutrition in human being is a large topic. Understand? And we will give one particular lecture for that only. Okay? So thank you very much from Bharat sir for today's lecture. Okay? Thank you very much.